This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd School.
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Yeah.
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerds!
Scissor me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd School.
My name is Low Key. Welcome to the Nerd School podcast. You jerk.
What do you mean, TBJ? Why can't Artstar and I be left alone?
You can barely behave when all four of us
Are you
are
saying
here.
we'd be handsy?
You're already handsy, and that's when all four of us are here. So who knows what you're doing when it's just the two of you?
Oh
All
yeah.
right, Nerd School is
Oh,
resuming
chicka wow wow.
normal classes.
Oh,
The
chicka wow wow.
the responsible professors are back.
The cool
The
professor.
grown-ups are here. The grown-ups are here.
It's like summer school, right?
Yeah, you're like Mark Harmon. And I'm
am I Kirstie Alley? And you're Chainsaw, or are you Dave?
I think I'm Chainsaw.
Or are you the little Weasley kid?
I don't remember. I'm Chainsaw.
Niederman or
TBJ
something.
is Kirstie Alley, and Andy, you're. Oh no, wait. If Art's Mark Harmon, I guess that makes Andy Kirstie Alley, and that makes TBJ.
Well, that probably makes
The
me
other
the
professor.
the dickhead vice principal or whatever.
I can't remember. There was a vice. Was there a vice?
Who was
principal?
actually yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Summer school is the
And it was
greatest-
actually Kirstie Alley was dating the evil vice principal, but then was won over to Freddie Shoup's.
Yep.
Yeah. So welcome to the summer school episode, where all we're
Yeah.
going to talk about today is summer school. The next
I was
movie in the
wondering a
MCU.
minute ago, like the next phase break, I guess,
It'll be a
whether or
while.
not we should actually try to make a journey through all the Transformers movies, or if it's not even worth it. Just like to see like the worst side of nerd movies is something that should be
I don't
awesome.
think they're that bad.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
They're
we've seen the worst
yeah.
side of nerds.
We've already
movies,
gone
haven't
the
we?
worst. Barbarella and
Yes.
Howard the Duck.
Lord.
fair enough.
What if you guys were to make, like, say, Summer School, the movie Summer School?
Yeah,
If you had to put it in the MCU, like, what would you have happen? Like, what would be the storyline that adds
no
it to
difference.
MCU?
just,
No difference. Who's the superhero?
yeah. Except the only difference is like real life.
It'll be
goes
like
on.
X-Men.
Superheroes don't touch everybody.
It'll be like
No,
X-Men.
it'd be like a superhero that is always getting in trouble, so he's given this shitty assignment. Much
It'll be
a
like
movie.
Sky High.
And all the students just happen to have powers, but they're kind of screw ups. So same.
Chainsaw might actually have chainsaws for hands,
Yep.
whereas
which
Dave has Daves
which,
for hands.
To be fair,
To be
to be
fair.
fair,
To be
there's a
fair.
new anime
Oh,
called Chainsaw
Courtney-
Man.
Courtney Thorne-Smith turns out to actually be the Silver Surfer
There you go. Boom.
because she's the surf chick who just wants to go out and surf the waves.
Courtney Thorne
It out.
Smith was.
Yeah,
oh, that's
from-
right. Yeah. Wasn't she also in Point Break?
I don't know
I think
about
of a
that.
different person.
He was in Melrose Place, and according to Jim, and
All I remember is Melrose
According to
Place.
Jim. How do you know
Yeah.
that? Courtney
because it's
Thorne.
it was
Smith.
that was like one of the archetypal
Oh.
fat dumb guy gets hot blonde lady and
Like
sitcoms.
so many sitcoms.
I know who
Yeah,
she
yeah.
is. I just realized I get her mixed up with the one who's on
That show.
Adventures of Babysitting.
Courtney Thorne-Smith is the one who made the movie with Carrot Top, and then in that Norm Macdonald Conan O'Brien clip where Norm Macdonald is like hopped up on cold medicine and just completely rips into that while during her segment trying to plug that movie. Norm Macdonald is just shitting all over it and embarrassing her, but hilariously.
Okay, so what if you could just take every movie to put in the MCU? All you have to do is you play the whole movie regular, and you just add some scene of the building getting crushed while Hulk is smashing something. You take one scene from a Hulk
It'll
movie.
be
this-
like an
Smash the
episode
building.
of Family Guy, right? Where you
Yeah.
have like the cutaway.
That's like
It'll
that
be
one time
like
I
Avengers
farted
vibe.
on Captain America.
Or they just talk or memory.
Yeah, or somebody watches the TV and say, "Oh, look at that." Hulk broke something, or
Or it
look,
could just be
there's
the whole end of summer school. The movie's over, credits are about to roll, and then a building explodes, and it's like, oh, Hulk's just smashed something, and then you go
Yeah,
back.
You got a new idea. Trademark.
Trademark it.
Nerd School. No
But
one
I'm
use
gonna
it.
connect every single movie to the MCU,
I think
and
Art's
then it's
on
the
something
Joverse.
with making it an X-Men movie though. That's like the class turns out to be mutants,
Oh,
and they all
but
get powers.
Yeah.
isn't that what TBJ said, or did Art say that?
One of them.
That was
did.
the art star who said
Yeah,
that.
that's
What did
what
you
Art
say?
originated
Give
the
me my
students
credit.
with X-Men. Yes. I said
Okay.
they'd have superpowers. He said X-Men.
Oh, okay.
No one was going to take your credit from you, dude.
Joe's trying to reassign it.
I was reassigning it because I didn't. It's so weird with Art just being on this Zoom call with just being blending into the background. And like, is that him in front of that house? Is that Art way back there?
We never know. We don't
I'm
know what he
pretty
does.
sure he's got
That's
some.
Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry
Yeah,
Potter. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
You're a wizard.
You're a
He's not-
wizard,
Speaking of
Harry.
Harry Potter, one of the main hobbits is in Black Panther.
Great
Is
segue.
that going to be his claim to fame?
You need to know. No, hobbits are not Harry Potter. They are Lord of the Rings.
I know. I was going to give him that, but that's okay.
Oops. I thought they were
And
saying.
there you have it, guys.
There's
we are
no.
back again for another Black Panther episode.
Yeah, this is going
Question
to be
mark?
the third out of probably
12.
But here's
Five.
how we should kick this off. Here's how we should kick this off.
okay. Harry Potter.
You know, two of the professors weren't here last week,
yeah,
right?
absent.
And one of the professors, Ando,
Mhm.
he was so upset that he wasn't here because he wanted to answer the question, Joe, that I can answer for you.
oh, the War Dogs.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. He has Goo Gobs of War Dog info for you. Like he had
yeah.
a nerd boner when he was like, oh, I got so much about War Dogs. Like when I tell you, he always put my eye out.
Well, now that I've watched Black
Lord.
Panther a couple more times since last time,
Okay.
I'm kind of gathering what the War Dogs are. Now they're referring to that blue tattoo in the side of their lip as a War Dog tattoo.
Let Ando give you his War Dog history.
But yeah, you give us the background of the War Dogs.
Do it,
Yeah,
Andy.
The War
Do
Dogs,
it.
as referenced in Black Panther, in that context, in the film, they are basically Wakanda's network of spies that throughout the world, embedded everywhere, spying on everything, assessing everything for threats to Wakanda. And Killmonger's whole thing is he knows that.
He
And
knows
he's
they're
trying
already
to activate
stationed.
them and turn them into like terrorist agents to destabilize everything and take over the world,
See,
essentially.
That's where I disagree. I don't think he wants to turn them into terrorists. I'm going to warn everybody.
They
I'm
would
a
be
little bit on
defined as
Killmonger's
terrorists.
side.
Yeah, no, I get it, but he wouldn't call them terrorists. They would be called terrorists.
by other people, but
Yeah,
I don't think what he wants to do is necessarily terrorism.
You don't think he
Interesting
was
take.
trying to create a military state?
Well,
Mhm.
I don't think he wants to do that either.
he just wants to foment revolutions
Yeah, and
and
it's time to
uprisings.
flip the flip the script a little. I mean, now everybody who's a warmonger or a killmonger, once he gets power, maybe he's gonna be bad. But I think there's a lot of merit to what he says and what he wants to do, and that all the injustice. Like there's our people are being sacrificed everywhere, and they don't have the weapons to fight their oppressors, and you guys have these weapons. I don't know. We'll get into the whole thing, but I find myself kind of rooting for him sometimes, but getting
that was-
like the way he does it isn't the best way. And he
I mean, I was rooting for his physical body, so much of the film, but I don't know if I was rooting for his idea. There are moments, but
Yeah.
he is what I would call misguided.
yeah. But you
That
but
was-
you can see
that's-
why he is. I mean, you
Yeah,
can really
that's kind of the
Yeah.
the sign of a really good villain is that you almost agree with him.
that's why I think they've done well, and we've talked about this before, previous ones. That it's so like all of them. Like we talked about who was the guy, Baron Zemo, like you kind of understand where he's coming from. You might not be on his side, but you kind of get why he is the way he is.
And I was
You can
gonna ask
sympathize
you-
with their origins.
yeah.
I was going to ask you that, like, since you feel this way about Killmonger, then you do you do also feel the same way about Zemo. But then also going even further
Remember what Zemo's
back,
thing was?
like what about Carly? Like, do you feel the same way? Kind of, sort of like
iCarly?
no, Carly
No.
from Carly Morgenthau from
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh crap! I can't remember what her thing was either.
Well,
She
I knew I was
was-
going too far. I knew I was
Too
going
far
too far
back.
when I said it. Yeah.
Okay,
You have to be
right, yeah, I,
careful with
I
those,
think
Brett.
I do. She's the pretty. She's the daughter of. Oh no, that's Peggy.
No, you're thinking someone else.
Isn't she Peggy's granddaughter?
No, that's Sharon Carter.
Oh, Sharon
And
Carter.
that's her great niece, I
Carly. Who was
guess.
Carly?
She was the leader of the Flag Smashers.
Oh, yes. Yes, I think I do. I am on her side too. I think I'm not on her side necessarily, but I get what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And that makes it good. Like it's the Magneto thing. It's you understand why he is what he is. You're just like,
yeah,
I don't think
standing
that's the
up
best
for
way
the
to do it.
oppressed mutants who are always,
And then
treated.
later on, Cyclops jumped on the
Lately.
yeah.
But that's X-Men stuff.
Lately
The War Dogs,
have the
the Black Panther's
strangest
network of
feeling.
spies is kind of like was sort of introduced in the Priest run of the Marvel Knights version of Black Panther in the late 90s. And they were basically they had their name was the Hatutzaratse. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that
Say it
right.
again. Sing it this time.
It's two words, Hatut, Hatut, Zeraze, Zeraze. That was their name, and it translates to the Dogs of War.
Oh, okay.
And what they were in initially, introduced pretty much at the same time the Dora Milaje were introduced. They were like the Wakandan secret police. Like they were, and and T'Challa didn't know anything about them. It was a T'Chaka thing. It was like one of his thing. He let it happen because their leader was this guy named Hunter, also known as the White Wolf, who is actually an adopted older sibling of T'Challa's, and he's actually like a white guy whose family crash landed on like the Wakandan shores or something, and T'Chaka took him in and
Doesn't
raised him
White
as his
Wolf
own.
become the name of Winter Soldier later?
That's how they sort of
They do reference him, yes.
But
Yeah,
that's not the same.
it's not,
person.
they haven't introduced this character, but they've just given his name to Bucky.
Got you. So they
And I don't.
again another nerd nod. So that's like a nerd nod. Like
Yeah,
nerds
it's
are
like,
oh yeah, they use
White
that
Wolf's
thing.
character, and that was like a thing I was excited about. But I was like, but that's Bucky. What about the guy? So what the
Thanks,
way
Bucky
it was
sucks.
introduced, was Hunter was loyal to T'Chaka, and T'Chaka kind of allowed him to operate to do the ruthless stuff that he didn't want to do to be a good king. He let Hunter handle the wet work, the dirty work, the like political tortures and assassinations in order to protect Wakanda. And then when T'Challa became king, when he found out that Hunter was still doing shit like that, it became a big conflict.
So are we to assume this shit like that is sort of keep an eye on other countries, and if they get wind of Wakanda, or if they seem to know what Wakanda's about, or if they get word of the vibranium, then he just cuts it off and kills them, type of thing?
Yeah,
We're
that's
led to
kind of
believe.
what Hunter was doing with the War Dogs, but they also had they weren't just spies. They were also they had full on Black Panther outfits, except they were white. They were imagine Black Panthers holding guns and in completely white suits. And there was like a little small army of them as well. So they
I
were
feel
also
Yeah, I think you
soldiers.
have like an action figure, one of those, or you had something with that.
I might have. I had some HeroClix mods made of those guys.
HeroClix.
Just because I was a fan of that storyline. And it's interesting. It's another way of, this is the methodology. I mean, there's elements of Hunter in Killmonger, I think, in this version of Killmonger.
But so it seems like here in the MCU, the War Dogs aren't as secret because
T'Challa's aware of them.
Because Nakia is one. They said she is on a War Dog mission, right, at the beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, I mean, some of them could be, rescuing people and doing things like that. Others, it's just ruthlessly killing people. So they haven't
By
really,
any means necessary.
yeah. So they may dive into more war dog stuff in the future, but it's interesting. Like everyone's, or I guess, well, T'Challa is aware that they exist. He might not know the extent of their methodology.
Okay,
Or
so that
maybe he
I think
does.
that really helps explain how it was in the comics, and that
Mhm.
it kind of explains when Killmonger takes controls. We already have people stationed. We're gonna, go do this thing, and I mean, I like
Yeah.
the idea that he's helping stop oppression all over the world that he's seen and lived. I mean, he grew up, in it, in
Mhm.
Oakland or whatever. So with MC Hammer just watching by, not even helping, is what we established in the previous episode.
Yes,
MC
MC Hammer. He was
MC
just
Hammer
hanging
did not
out.
help.
MC
He
Hammer
was just
was
hanging
in the
out.
Navy. A lot of people don't know that, but by 92, he was
Is
putting
that
out
a conclusion you
too
came
legit to
to?
quit. Yeah, we did. Well, I Googled it. And that was,
We had we thoroughly discussed this last episode.
yeah, we discussed a lot of things, and I will warn you guys, I did a lot of research about mundane bullshit about people that are in Black Panther. So, and I'm gonna just,
It was entirely an episode of Notable Alumni, wasn't
it was pretty much, yeah. But a lot of these actors they got are really talented people that are like playwrights and have done all this amazing stuff. So I'll drop that in there when we get to it. But so I found a summary of Black Panther on gradesaver.com.
All right.
It's a Black Panther film study guide summary. So I'm kind of using this person's, whoever did that, they were kind of writing.
All right.
And then I'm sprinkling my own stuff. So stop me whenever you have knowledge or something you guys want to talk about. I got my own little
What
notes.
questions you have?
Yeah, I have
concerns.
I have questions in here, and some like, do I understand this right? This is what I'm understanding.
Well, throw it at us. We're
I'll
ready.
throw, yeah. So starts out with centuries ago, 5 African tribes were at war with each other over possession of a meteorite filled with vibranium, the strongest metal in the universe. And it's told, you hear the story of a child being told the story, and with an animation, which is cool. One warrior ingests a heart-shaped herb affected by the vibranium and finds that he's suddenly bestowed with superhuman powers, and he becomes the first Black Panther. His first accomplishment is to unite all but the Jabari tribe, all but one, who went up to the mountains, forming the new nation of Wakanda. And they use the vibranium to become a technological superpower, but isolate themselves and hide from the rest of the world by pretending to be a third world nation. And then we go to 1992, where King T'Chaka visits his brother Njobu in Oakland, California, where MC Hammer and Oaktown 357 are from. And Art Star and I talked a little bit about geography, where I was mistaken where Oakland is in California. It was closer to San Francisco, where I thought it was closer to LA. I didn't really know.
Dumb asshole.
The whole
I lived in
time.
San Francisco for 5 years.
I didn't
Oakland
know
is
you-
across the bridge.
Joe has a bad memory. He
I
can't
never
remember.
visited you in San Francisco. I had no
Yeah, I guess
idea
you did.
Oakland was up there. And then as I was looking at the map, I was like, geez, San Diego's right there. So San Diego's right by LA. That's really,
San Diego is about 2 hours south of LA, and then it's pretty much right on the border of Mexico. Then you drive
Mexico.
north from LA about 6 hours, you get to San Francisco, and then you cross a bridge and you're in Oakland.
well, not everybody lived in California, pal.
And then if you go an hour or
Some
so
of us were
east,
born in Georgia.
Sacramento, and then Berkeley is right north of
Well, it
Oakland.
made me realize about where all these baseball and football teams are located, and how far apart they are. So
And there's actually a town called Vacaville, which means cow town. in
did you go
Spanish.
cow tipping there?
No, I just like to know that I know vaca means cow in Spanish.
Anyway, we see T'Chaka visiting Njobu, and Njobu is played by Sterling K. Brown, who
This Is Us.
yeah, from This Is Us, and he also is from St. Louis,
The
like my wife.
award-winning Sterling K. Brown.
That's
How-
right.
What awards has he won?
He's got a few Emmys. Like, he's been killing it on This Is Us as far as awards. I feel like every season he's been nominated, he takes home one.
Now,
And he's just so damn good in that show. He's so
here's
good.
my question about This Is Us. It's a little offshoot. We're getting a little off track.
Mandy Moore is his mom.
Is The Last
And
of
Milo
Us?
Ventimiglia from Heroes is his dad.
Oh, really?
Who also was young Sylvester Stallone or something, or like Sylvester Stallone's kid in Rocky
And
or something like
Rocky 5, I
that. Rocky
believe.
5, the one nobody likes.
Is The Last of Us the last season of This Is Us?
No, so different.
You
So damn
dumb
different.
asshole.
Two different genres of television.
But they're the same characters are in both, right?
No. Go to bed.
Man.
Okay,
Last of
Sterling
Us is
K.
a video game
Brown
about the zombies, I think.
is a
Last of
graduate.
Us is based on a video game.
So is This Is Us.
What video game is that? The Sims?
It's
The Sims.
yeah.
No, that's
I
not
guess
it.
so.
Sterling
Just
K.
to
Brown.
know that Sterling K. Brown has won 12 major awards, 2 Critics' Choice,
Oh.
a Golden Globe, an NAACP, 3 Emmys, 4 Screen Actors
Wow.
Guild, and then that's
Now-
where he is.
Here's the most important question, TBJ. Can Sterling K. Brown get it?
I like his wife a lot, so I'm gonna say no. But if he wasn't married,
Who's his wife?
she's not a big actress, but they do a lot of things where they show up together and do interviews together, and they're very sweet.
Okay, F, marry or kill. Sterling Brown, Forrest Whitaker, and
Michael B. Jordan.
no,
David Kalula.
Aren't they all married? Why'd you give me all
Daniel.
married?
Cool Rock
David
Skis
Daniel.
from the Fat Boys? Was the third one. No, yeah.
I'm not playing this game.
Wait, is
I knew you were
Cool Rock
playing
the
that.
last surviving Fat Boy?
Cool Rock is the last surviving Fat Boy, which I don't think people would realize. I think people would have guessed. I mean, everybody guessed Buffy was going to die. Anyway, Sterling K.
Yeah.
Brown is a graduate from the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, home of the Rams in St. Louis. Notable alumni include Joe Buck and Vincent Price. Vincent Price went to the same high school as Sterling K. Brown, and now you guys know that.
Thanks for sharing that.
And my wife is from St. Louis, and I asked her, I woke her up one night when I read this to say, hey, have you ever heard of St. Louis Country Day School? And she was like, yeah, why? I was like, Sterling K. Brown went there. And then she went back to sleep.
Yeah.
You didn't
So
know.
here's a question from the nerd professor to Sports Dick, the sports guy. Joe Buck, you mentioned as notable alumni.
Yeah.
All I know about it, I'm familiar with Joe Buck, and apparently everyone hates Joe Buck as a sportscaster.
Well, his dad
and
was Jack
I don't know
Buck.
why.
Who hates Joe Buck?
Everybody,
Joe Buck?
everyone always talks about, oh, Joe Buck is the shittiest guy.
Joe
I
Buck
hate
has
Joe
one of those golden voices. I think they don't like the fact that Joe Buck, I don't want to say he follows the money, but he likes to get paid.
Joe
Right.
Buck is biased in his commentary.
95% of sports
Joe Buck hates the Vikings. Is that your thing?
He's a Packers
95% of
homer,
sportscasters are
he's a
biased
Cowboys homer.
against whatever team that they love.
Wait.
Tool.
How can you be a homer for two different cities? Don't
Not
you
a
have
homer,
to be
but he
from
just-
the city?
No, you know, he's
To
from
be a
St.
homer?
Louis, so he's probably a Cardinals homer.
You can't be a homer unless you're from the town of the
Well,
Team
when,
that
he's,
you like.
when he's
Homer.
announcing, he's
I
clearly
mean, let's pull
rooting
that.
for one team over the other.
What's a homer?
A homer generally in sports is like somebody who has rose-colored glasses about their team. So, like, if I'm a Panthers fan, like every year I think the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl.
But I feel like you couldn't be a homer unless you're actually from the town.
Yeah, Homer
that
was
your
a
team
bad.
is in,
Homer was a bad.
because
word. I
it's
shouldn't
your
have said something.
hometown team.
What I should have said
Okay.
is he's biased toward when he calls a Yankees game. He's biased towards the Yankees. Everybody says when he calls a
'cause
Cowboys
you were
game.
talking sports ball, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
confused me.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
supposed to be a color. He's supposed to be a commentary. He's supposed to be neutral, but he clearly gets more excited when a team.
The teams that people hate. He likes all the teams that people hate,
I think
like the Yankees and the Cowboys.
Cowboys and like Packers, but people don't all hate the Packers. But he was
Okay.
disgusted when Randy Moss scored a touchdown. And he pretended to moon the crowd, and he was like, "That's disgusting! What a horrible person he is! That's awful!" And Randy Moss is just awesome. So that's why I hate him.
All right, I just thought I'd flip the script for a second and be the
Yeah,
nerd asking
Joe
the-
Buck. Yeah, I went to the same
sports
school as
school.
Sterling K. Brown, so it's related to Black Panther,
There you go.
home of the Rams.
I guess.
But
Okay,
that
anyway.
St. Louis Country Day School is a fancy, rich school, I think. And
Is that what
Forrest Whitaker
Country
is
Day
also-
means?
I think so. I think
If there's a country day school, it means it's a rich
I
school.
think it means fancy rich. I don't know.
I mean, we have Charlotte Country Day, and they're pretty fancy
Are they
as
fancy?
shit.
We had
Yeah.
Maumee Valley Country Day. It was
why-
closed every time there was a snow.
Why is Country Day added to a school and makes it rich?
And we have Providence Day. They're rich.
Yeah,
I wonder if
day
there's a
come from?
specific approach to education that the like country day schools take. Like maybe everyone
Yeah.
gets country
So,
time lemonade every.
If
day.
they're like a Providence night school,
What's a Country Day school?
All right, I'll work on that while you guys keep going. I'll look up country day.
What is
Research.
There's a lot of Country Day schools. Why are they called Country Day schools?
yeah, why not country night?
It was a movement that grew out of the progressive education movement that traces its roots to the late 19th century in America. They provide the educational rigor, learning environment, community, and values that rank them the very best, whatever that means.
You are the best of the best.
Country day schools sought to recreate the educational rigor, atmosphere, camaraderie, and character building aspects of the best college prep boarding schools while allowing students to return to their
We are
families.
the
at
elite
end
of
the
the
day.
elite.
Okay. All right.
Like
So
rich
it's
people.
just fancy pants. All right. So yeah,
So anyway, we're in Oakland,
T'Chaka visits his brother.
and we find out that Njobu is an undercover spy. T'Chaka accuses Njobu of helping the arms dealer named Ulysses Claw attack Wakanda and steal vibranium. And we find out that later that was Njobu's partner Zuri there. And his suspicions are true. My only problem with this, the beginning of the movie, now that I know what happened when I watched it a second time, I was like, well, why is he so happy to see him and he's so sweet with him when he's really there to yell at him? Like, and
He also loves him.
he also
But then he was
his
also
brother.
trying to suss him
It's
out,
called-
right? To see if he was going to admit what he had done.
is he going to admit it right away? And then he realizes he's not going to admit it. So then he yells at him.
But I feel like
Yeah.
that's a normal reaction people would have.
Yeah, I mean, it's also sort of establishes that country over family. They're all.
Yeah.
He's the king. He has to. He can't.
And that's
Make
the whole
exceptions.
that's the whole struggle throughout the movie. I mean, they have to really weigh that. And I think we see that the best with Nakia when she's
Don't do it, Joe. Don't do
you
it,
said
Joe.
Nakia, didn't I?
You
Nakia.
did, Joe.
Yeah.
You did, Joe.
Brant Fundak, damn you.
I
Nakia-
had
wasn't Nakia
when I was reading
phone-
the comics, it was Nokia in my head all the time until this.
because
movie.
wasn't there a phone company called
Nokia.
Nokia.
Oh Nokia?
That's Nokia, but
Yeah.
Nakia is a
Nakia,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
we
it's
have
all-
a guy
yeah.
that keeps saying Nokia, and then so that's in my head now. Brant Fundak on Polo. Anyway, when Nakia has to, well, we'll get to it, I guess. When
It's
she,
hard for a good man to be king. We're a good man, and it's hard for a king to also be a good man.
well, and then
Yep.
when he's overthrown and we have a new king, it's like Okoye's struggle. Okoye's loyal to the new king because he's king.
Mhm.
That's country over,
Yeah, everything.
but
She learns the lesson of that,
Nakia's
Don't cross your wife, my dude.
and
Yeah.
the lesson of excessive patriotism.
Nakia says, "I love my country, but I love Black Panther." And then it's kind of that whole struggle. That's kind of the whole struggle of the thing. It's like your country and what's blindly following your country can't always be good if they're not doing the right thing.
Blindly following traditions, which is T'Challa's big rebellion against the spirit of his father. It's like, you are wrong. All of you are wrong.
Yeah.
For leaving that boy.
Mhm.
That's where it's, yeah, I think they were wrong for leaving him. But I also think they're wrong for not, giving giving vibranium to the people of color and
But
Oakland
like,
in
okay,
1992 that are
let's think about this logically. What happens if they do that? If they
The white man gonna come in and steal it. That's what's gonna happen.
yeah,
or gangs, it's already gang violence going on.
It's not gonna be gangs. It's gonna be white people going. How
White
did you get
people
so much
taking it.
power? And we're gonna
Mhm.
take it from you. So there's
he's
a
right
reason.
when he
that's why they
says-
don't wage war on the world, because that means the world is waging war on them. And while they've got some
Oh, I
high tech
see.
business,
Okay.
they're not
I didn't think about it
infallible.
that way. Because then
It's-
they're gonna get. Then these white people are gonna get control of the weapons, and then that's gonna
Mhm.
be it.
Yeah,
and
so
the- and the
answer all
way-
questions. Yes.
Yeah.
That is
So,
hard,
Joe.
but
And the way
Yeah.
Killmonger's going about it, ship out weapons to everybody and just start revolting is like
because right away
Dangerous.
Claw is getting
Yeah.
it, and people are gonna start dealing the weapons immediately. Then
Mhm.
before you know it, Tony Stark has the weapons, and then it's all
yeah, like, and are the Avengers going to have to get involved? Is Thor going to show up and say you need to stop waging war on the world? Is like there's a lot of factors to how that
Yeah.
plan
so
would
they're
actually
keeping it
work
just
logically.
to keep them safe, and just when they have to, which is difficult because I don't know. I guess maybe I didn't think of it.
But your loyalty is to your people. So while I am a Black woman, my experiences of a Black woman in America, and while I would love to help Black people in the diaspora, I am limited by location. And so I'm going to start with my sphere of influence first before I can tackle the world. And that's Wakanda. They're going to circle their sphere of influence before they just
Mhm.
So you're
go
saying
out at the world.
TBJ is going to protect Art Star first,
No,
then
he's the first to get thrown
people-
off the boat.
outside.
Wow.
But yeah, like
And
Wakanda
you know what?
is
That would happen because as a Sith apprentice,
No, it would happen because I don't trust you because you are.
it
a
would
Sith.
happen because
You
you're
were-
trying to ascend
No,
to
I'm
Sith.
gonna look
It's
at you.
okay.
I'm gonna remember what
okay.
you said about Kylo Ren killing his daddy, and if you can side with the dude who killed his own daddy, then you could kill me, and then you gotta go.
Yeah, this is why you can't bring the weapons, because it instantly becomes an argument between the Sith and the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's like
I think I like his point of when he yells about, they flood our cities with drugs and weapons, and then we're overly policed and overly incarcerated.
Mhm.
It's just like,
I mean, that's the truth of America. Yeah,
that's the truth.
Yes.
Like, it's just, and it's overwhelmingly people of color that are incarcerated for minor things all the
Mhm.
time.
so
So it's just filled
with
companies going
modern
to have
slave
free
labor.
prison slave labor. That's
It's
modern day
just-
slavery.
Yeah, it's modern. It's just slavery. That's
Yeah.
and that's what he lived it, Killmonger, and he's like, we have the most powerful things in the world.
But
Our people.
let's think about how
I
he's going
get
about
it.
it. There's a way to go about it without his method, and I wouldn't blame a country in Wakanda for what's happening. Listen, we know why America's America.
Yeah.
That's who I'm going after. If
That's how
I'm
it
going
was
after
built.
anybody.
It was how it was founded. It was started. It was built on.
Yeah, so if I'm taking somebody out of the kneecaps,
But
dear
let's
CIA, that's a turn of phrase.
That's
I'm
the
not
thing.
taking anybody out by
Yeah,
the
it's not a
kneecaps.
threat.
but this movie also demonstrates that while Wakanda is advanced and very there's a lot of progress there, it is not perfect, it is not flawless, and is not invulnerable. So
Exactly.
they are
Well, I
not
guess
in a
by the
position
events of the
to
movie
take on.
unfold.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when
You see,
Killmonger
like
comes in, you see the strife he causes and how easily it all just
yeah.
comes.
You see the
crumbling down.
cracks. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see the cracks in the community because
yeah,
human nature.
the conflict between
But as soon as
tradition and
The American comes in and ruins everything.
modernity. Yeah, which is, and it's so they're not in a position to just unilaterally take on the world.
Yeah.
And T'Challa is basically taking Killmonger's intention at the end of, supporting people with resources and everything, but not doing it forcibly. His
but
goal,
also using Nakia's
how
sort of
successful it will
way
be,
of doing
is
things.
whatever. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
outreach, it's support with like education and financial, like helping end poverty and things like that.
Which is what she was all about.
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o was all about that. And so
That's right.
using her peaceful way of doing it, I don't know. But it's like the American comes in and ruins everything. But the American is the way he is because they abandoned him there,
Yeah,
His
there's
people
trauma
abandoned him.
for
So
sure.
It's kind of their mistake, that
They
struggle.
created who he is.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes.
So
Right.
And that's
So-
something they have to reconcile with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wakanda. Yeah, it's recognizing which traditions are valuable and which traditions need to stop, and it's protecting the lie, as Zuri calls it. And Zuri is an interesting character. He's very different from the comics, or at least his comic origins.
Oh, really? What's he like in the
was-
comics?
In the comics, he was an older guy. He was like a friend of T'Chaka, but he's also this huge burly dude that carries the spear of Bashenga everywhere, and he talks about the olden days all the time. He's like
He's kind of like that.
he seems he was kind of like he'd be one of the Warriors 3 and Thor. He just like the guys trading war stories and talking, oh, the traditions they're super important, and like always telling war stories and battle tales and stuff like that. Excuse me. You can edit that cough out.
So you
Sorry.
think Forrest Whitaker was a bad choice to play Zuri?
Not necessarily, because of the way they sort of changed his character a bit. I mean, if it was a direct translation from comics, it would need to be, I don't know, like Terry
Charles
Crews
Dutton?
sized,
Oh,
or
Terry Crews, okay.
or or just some
Like a
huge
big
dude.
wrestler guy.
But is Ford
Yeah.
forever a bad choice? Ask yourself that.
Well, he's also in the Star Wars universe, so
He's everywhere.
Yeah, it's a much less special thing to be in the Star Wars universe anymore. But because Jack Black and Lizzo
You can get
are
some
now.
nerds angry. Listen,
not-
and that was incredible.
Spoiler, and
wait a minute. What are you saying about
Spoiler.
Lizzo? Wait, shots
I'm not. I'm
fired
just
towards
saying.
Lizzo?
I'm just saying everybody is like, and the more Star Wars
Spoiler.
they do, the more people are
Same with
going to be in
Marvel.
it. Yeah, everybody's already in the MCU. I feel
Also,
like.
Forrest Whitaker went to the same school as Will I Am and Susanna Hoffs, one of the Bengals. So there's
right.
that. And then now we're in present day, and T'Chaka's son T'Challa is to be crowned king after his father's death. And we remembered his father's death from
Civil War.
Civil War, which
Yeah.
was how many movies ago now?
Uh,
This is another
Do it,
issue I kind of have.
Joe.
It seems like there's a long time ago.
but
his
you know, like
father
what we
died.
saw in between is Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Doctor Strange, I think. So we didn't focus on the developments from this.
So maybe the time isn't that long before a new king is crowned, because don't they have to crown him pretty quick?
Yeah, they're talking about like it's been like in the same week that
Oh,
happened.
okay.
That all the events of Civil War happened, and then this is about a week later.
So this is
Oh.
some of my question here. So he's being crowned the king without having to fight anybody, but he only has to
No,
fight somebody if there's a challenge. So this is
Yeah,
the whole thing. Is the whole
yeah.
Forrest
Warrior
Whitaker say,
Falls.
is there any challenges? And everybody's like, we don't challenge today. And they're all like, yeah, we don't.
Mm.
You know, the mining tribe, we don't challenge today. And then that's where the Jabari come down.
Yeah.
But he and Okoye, the leader of the Dora Milaje Royal Guard. Before he can be crowned king, they have to have Nakia there, because he says, I want her to be there, right? Or he
Mhm.
wants her to know about my dad dying, because she's his ex, from what we
Yeah.
understand.
They're
Ex-lover.
off again, on again. Okay, it's
Lovers.
the struggle is distance. They're each other's
Mm-hmm.
people. They're each other's person.
They're each other's person.
But
I
like
keep-
their paths have diverged.
Yeah.
They're the chosen work.
Okay. But he wants to go find her so that before they do the ceremony.
He wants her there because he cares for her. He loves
And
her.
it offers us a good chance for kick-ass battle scenes with Black Panther kicking ass.
Mhm.
But they keep talking the funny little bit about him freezing. Well, you're gonna freeze. Don't freeze. I never freeze. You know, and then he freezes because she's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's
and-
fun.
And Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman's great, and rest in peace.
Yep.
He's from Anderson, South Carolina, which is close to here.
There you go.
He graduated in 1995 from TL Hanna High School, and he was on the basketball team.
So yeah, there's been 4 MCU movies between Civil War and Black Panther in 2
Okay.
years.
And so it took 2 years for them to name a
Yeah.
king. Or-
No, it's
Oh, you said it's the
this
same
takes
movie.
place right at like after the Civil War events, but for us, we've watched 4 movies in between: Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Thor: Ragnarok.
Okay.
So that's why it feels like so long ago.
Well, yeah, that and Felicia Rashad was Chadwick Boseman's mentor at Howard. Just so you know, that too. Art wanted me to bring that up. But yeah, so And then we cut to Claw and the American named Eric Stevens, aka Killmonger, steal a Wakandan artifact made of vibranium from a museum in London. And they poison that woman. And then he's got somebody on the inside at the museum, an inside museum spy that helps him.
Yep.
Get
And
that.
yeah, we
And
never learn her name, but
Yeah, before she dies, right?
yeah, she's kind of an interesting side note. Just that in the comics, there was like Nakia and Okoye were both Dora Milaje, and Nakia had an excessive fascination with T'Challa, and to the point where she got like psycho jealous, and when she was rejected, and then kind of became a villain called Malice. And at one point when she was defeated or something, Killmonger showed up, and Killmonger in the comics was raised in America, but also has his own like Njidaka village in Wakanda somewhere. So he was able to, and so Nakia kind of teamed up with Killmonger to try to take out T'Challa at some point.
Really?
Because she was sort of broken mentally. So they've changed her character a lot in this too.
Well,
But,
they say this lady, and this is named Linda Johnson.
yeah, that's her character name. We
Yeah.
never hear it.
Yeah, I don't know if we were here, but it's. I just googled Killmonger's girlfriend, and
Mhm.
she was a former Black Ops operative turned criminal who was the lover of Eric Killmonger until he betrayed and killed her.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just in the movie or what, but
I
Andy
don't know.
Serkis plays.
No, I think it's
Claw.
somewhere. I read that it's more than just in the movie. Like she is a character to him. Like
from
she's
the
his
comics or
girlfriend.
something. Yeah.
I don't know if it was from the comics, but it was more than what was given in the movie.
Okay. Maybe they cut all of her scenes or something. But Claw, we get our first look at Claw too. And it's not our first look, right? Because wasn't he in a previous movie as Claw?
Yeah, he was in Age
on a
of
boat?
Ultron. He
Age of
was
Ultron.
it was the source of vibranium that Ultron sort of made him a billionaire.
Okay.
And he took vibranium so he could make vibranium Ultrons or something.
And he's played by Andy Serkis, whose father was an Iraqi Armenian gynecologist. Those are the guys who wondered. And Andy Serkis does the voice of something from the Hobbits, right?
Gollum, Lord of the Rings. And he
Yeah.
also did the physicality of it.
In Harry Potter, the Gollum.
No,
No.
Lord help you. Those are extremely different.
Lord of the
things.
Rings help you?
No. I
And
don't
then
need the Lord
we see
of-
Mike. He's with Michael B. Jordan, who went to Newark Arts High School, home of the Jaguars. Savion Glover also went to that same school. Anyway,
Incidentally, Claw in the
Yeah.
comics is the person who killed T'Chaka. It wasn't
Oh.
Zemo.
really?
And yeah, because he was just like he had like a shitty chin strap beard, and he was like the stereotypical ivory trader looking kind of jungle exploitation guy.
Yeah.
And he was out there to steal and mine vibranium. And there was so he was slaughtering Wakandans, including T'Chaka, because he had developed this sort of sonic weapon kind of thing with the vibranium, because it sort of absorbs
But he did steal
kinetic energy and stuff.
vibranium. Like he
did. And then T'Challa, as an 8-year-old, which is when T'Chaka died in the comics, he was became a boy king. Was fended off Claw and shot him with this sonic thing that just ruined his arm and broke everything. And then eventually Claw sort of morphs into this living being of sound. Like he's the master of sound. He's like this weird faced thing with looks like a radar dish on his hand that it's basically a huge woofer, I guess, that shoots sonic energy.
Sonic sound. And
and he can kind of become sound and shoot around and fly. He's way super powered, and he's one of the masters of evil and stuff. So this is kind of a different version of Claw, but he still has a similar enough look that and that's what his whole robot arm thing that he has, that's kind of a nod to what he is in the comics. He's got he can shoot shit out of his hand.
Yeah, I kind of like how they made that hand thing that spreads apart and all that. That was kind of cool looking.
Yeah,
realistic seeming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. That woman, it's before I realized that lady at the coffee shop is his girlfriend, is and with him. I was like, she presumably poisoned the museum lady. How long was she in on it? Did she get the job at the museum just to do that? Like, how long was she been working at that museum undercover? Or did he seduce a museum employee
The seduction
to go
of
bad?
the
Like, did she
museum
already work there? Or
barista.
did she have to apply for a job there?
I think she was planted there. It's
She was
what we.
planted there.
I don't think she was previously employed there.
Like, I wonder how many coffees she served that day before the plan went into effect. Like, did she mess up anybody's coffee orders?
She did what she had to do to get the job done.
Yeah, she had to do. What
She
had
lied in waiting to
And
strike.
Linda Johnson is her name. Linda Johnson.
Oh,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
All right.
Andy's upset.
no, I just learned something because I was looking
Boingy
into this
boinger.
Linda Johnson, and she was initially cast. The character's name was Tilda Johnson, who is actually a Marvel character, Deadly Nightshade, who is like a
Did you say Deadly
Captain America
Nightshade?
villain. Yeah, like she's the Deadly Nightshade, and who is real big on poisons and stuff, like chemical alteration. Like I
Maybe
think
that's
she was
what you
turning
read,
people into
TB Jack.
werewolves for a while, and I think she's the reason that there is
Possibly.
Well,
there's
Deadly
a
Nightshade's a
storyline
plant.
where Captain America turned into a werewolf. So
Really?
that's interesting that they decided to say, all right, she's not Nightshade, but like the fact that she's poisoning people is a Nightshade kind of thing to do.
She's a cool looking character. If you look up, she's very scantily clad in a lot of Marvel
Yes.
comics.
Yeah, she's basically runs around in a bikini and thigh-high leather boots.
That's misogyny.
Well, it's 70s
At
comics.
its best.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody is to perfect misogyny, it's comic book writers. So
That's true. And comic book fans, more likely.
Yeah.
also the whole
Incest.
world.
And yeah, also the whole world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, that's an interesting little thing we just dug up, right? That's
Yep.
kind of related to this. And then we come back to the ceremony where T'Challa is going to become king. But the leader of the Jabari tribe, M'Baku, challenges T'Challa to return.
Handsome
Ritual-
M'Baku.
Handsome M'Baku. Yeah. So this actor, are you into this guy there, TBJ?
Or you know she's into Winston Duke. She said it on numerous occasions.
Thank you for paying attention to me, Art. Yes, the answer is yes.
You
And
love
Kenny,
Winston Duke?
yes.
And have you met Winston Duke personally, who was born in Tobago and moved to Brooklyn?
If I had met him personally, you would know.
Well, you know, he went to the same high school as Kristen Wiig in Boston, or Rochester, actually, New York, upstate New York. So Brighton High School, home of the
I don't-
Barons.
I don't think
Didn't we
they're
already do
getting
this
the
episode
whole-
when we weren't here? We don't need
You don't
to-
want to trust their episode when we weren't
Art
here,
Star and I talked about Jim Rice with the Boston Red Sox for like
We
20
did. We
minutes.
did.
We talked about Major League MLB the show for an hour.
Andy. Yeah. We
lot
are.
of sports ball.
This is our third attempt at Black Panther, and this time we're actually talking
we're
about the
doing
movie.
pretty darn good. Like
We
we
are.
almost got
We're
to
getting
this-
in there, yeah.
this fight at Warriors Fall. We're getting there.
It just took us a few tries.
We're about to get to one of my biggest things that is like a question. Maybe you're gonna just smooth it over and explain it to me. But like already, you've already kind of talked me back from why wasn't he king sooner? Maybe it was only a week. They had to get
Mhm.
Nakia there, not
Yeah.
Nakia. But so are we to assume that? So, but here, part of my issue is
Oh,
Black
wait.
Panther. Black Panther is already Black Panther. Like
Yeah.
he's already fought
Black
as
Panther
but
and
you
the
can't
king.
become Black Panther until you drink the purple juice and become king, right?
It's like
juice.
Eat the purple
it's
flower.
it's
bury
two different
yourself.
it's two different positions: the king of Wakanda and the Black Panther, protector of Black Hawk.
So you can be
Chaka
Black-
was no longer the Black Panther when he was king.
Oh, T'Chaka
T'Challa.
wasn't Black Panther anymore.
No, because he
That
was the
was
king
my
of
big
Wakanda.
question: is were we expecting this old man was beating people up as Black Panther? But
No.
maybe he could if you drink the purple juice.
No, I think T'Challa worked as the Black Panther, a protector of Wakanda, maybe along the lines of he's like the warrior prince.
So he's
Whereas
already
T'Chaka
the
was
warrior.
handling the government. And so, and it's in the comics was like it's the chieftain of the Black Panther clan, or like there's a few different clans that are dedicated to different animal totems. Like M'Baku in the comics is his super villain. He was a straight up villain for a while, and his character's name was Man Ape, and he dressed like a big white gorilla. He was the leader of the
Okay.
White Gorilla clan,
Right.
and that was a little sketchy of a character. So one of the things I love about this movie is how they turned M'Baku into an awesome character.
Badass.
Yeah,
Very intimidating when
While
his
still-
tribe comes up. Yeah.
yeah, that was
With
like
the
one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
That first guy walks in, it's like, ooh, there's slow motion. This is tough.
Right.
and-
Gives you
and-
chills. Gives you
Yeah.
chills.
Yeah. When they come in, Bart, you're like, oh shit, man, these guys are tough.
Can you imagine if Scott Snyder directed this?
You mean Zack Snyder?
Zack Snyder, yeah.
D. Snyder?
Scott Snyder, the writer, right?
Scott Snyder wrote a lot
Batman,
of
Batman, and all of them. Yeah.
Zack Snyder, the entire movie would be slow motion. If Zack Snyder.
It would be 100% slow
Hold on,
motion.
it
would
could be
take
a
10 hours.
Zack Snyder, Michael Bay collabo.
Mm-mm.
No thanks.
It'd be a 9-hour movie, right?
It's a no, thank you.
With a little James Cameron mixed in.
Nope.
And one thing I wanted to note, like, there's a point later when Killmonger takes the throne, or like challenges for the throne, and they're like, it will take weeks to prepare another coronation. He's like, no, the whole country don't got to be there. I just need him.
Yeah.
So that's
need
another
everybody.
reason why it's taking this long to have the Warrior Falls thing. They have to get the entire
All
nation
the
together.
tribes together and schedule it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this kind of answers a lot, because my question was that if,
Oh, you know what, Joe? I just thought
Yeah.
of a good way for you to think about it.
yeah,
We just watched this in real life. Queen Elizabeth died.
yeah.
King Charles's coronation just happened.
Oh,
She's
did it
been-
happen? Is he king now?
It just happened, or it's happening now. Either it's
Like
taking
right
this
now?
long.
Okay.
I
took
think
it
they're
that
there
long
this
to-
week. I think it's coming up.
But for that, like, that's all just bullshit. Like, they don't do anything. They're just ceremonial, right? Like, so.
But still, it takes that long for a ceremony post.
Okay, that's a good
Yeah.
way to think about it.
It takes a while to plan an event.
Well, my
especially
biggest
one of this size.
problem was I was assuming that T'Chaka was the king and the Black Panther, so that he had the purple flower powers. So why
No.
did he
So
die
in
when
your
the building
mind,
blew up?
whoever
Why
is
wasn't he
the Black
invincible?
Panther is also the king.
Yeah, I thought they were one and the same, and then I was like, so how come he wasn't invincible when that building blew up? Like,
Black
how come he didn't
Panther's
have
not
the Black Panther
invincible.
powers. Yeah, but he's pretty
He's
much
tough, but you blow up Black Panther, he's still gonna die.
Mm.
Unless he's got like Shuri's throwing out some higher tech things that would absorb kinetic energy and stuff,
Yeah, you
but he's
could
not.
get purple
A,
stuff, man.
he's
You
wearing
get
a suit.
superpowers.
You get superpowers, but you don't get super invulnerability.
Mm.
That's why you still gotta wear the suit
Yeah.
for the.
But then
vibranium
also, just
protection.
like when T'Challa fights M'Baku, like he doesn't have the powers of the Panther in that moment. So like once you pass the mantle from Panther to
T'Chaka doesn't.
Panther,
But T'Challa does, right? Because
no, T'Challa doesn't have the power of the Black Panther when they fight. Like he even said that, like no
But
claws.
he fights M'Baku. Yeah,
when
like
they
the
fight
whole
Yeah,
thing,
they
they-
drain the power.
no, yeah,
so the
not
fight
when.
is
Yeah,
fair.
they drained the power when
Right,
he fought
so
M'Baku,
when-
but he had to
but-
eat the purple flower real quick because he was fighting. Like, when did he eat the purple flower the first time? Because he was fighting Captain
He's
America
been
and
had
all
the
those
purple
guys.
flower.
been
Go
had
back
it.
to the other movies.
Right.
He's been Black Panther.
Yeah, because
So like
been
but
Black
the
Panther.
just-
the
but he wasn't
mantle
the
gets
king.
passed. Once the mantle gets passed, you don't keep your powers. It's not like, oh, well, now you're the Black Panther, but you're still going to have.
But there can
the
only be
power of
one
the
Black Panther, right? So you got to barf up your purple powers. Presumably, somebody else barfed up their purple powers for him to get his purple powers, right?
No,
But
T'Chaka might still.
T'Challa was
T'Chaka's
the
old.
Black Panther.
He was.
I mean, T'Chaka was Black Panther. At
But
some-
note that the power comes from a plant, so no one has to barf up
yeah.
anything for the other one to take it.
Well, isn't that
They-
how they had to have him for the ceremony? T'Challa
They
had to barf
withdrew
up.
it from him, yes.
Yeah,
But
So he could have a fair fight with anyone who wanted to challenge.
Right.
But the source is the plant.
So, but at some point, T'Challa decided, I'm too old. Somebody else has to become Black Panther, because T'Challa was a Black Panther at some point.
T'Chaka was.
I mean, T'Chaka, yeah.
Yes.
The old guy, right? So he was
Yeah.
a Black
The
Panther
king.
and king at some point. But some point he had to say, I'm going to remain king, but somebody else becomes Black Panther. Right? So that we're assuming that happened at some point.
I don't necessarily know that he relinquished his heart-shaped herb given powers he relinquished the title. He doesn't necessarily have to give up his powers as well.
So 2 people can have the purple heart-shaped flower ingested.
There's a
in
whole
them at the
garden
same
of
time?
them.
Yeah, but aren't they just for the future king? They say that later when he burns it all. This is for future king.
Well, because people they plant them for them, but they're right there. So theoretically,
But they don't say
Yeah.
this is for future Black Panthers. They said this is for future kings. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm the only
Mm.
king. Burn it. So boom. So maybe he's not king.
It's like the titles have been unified.
like when Ultimate
Mike-
Warrior and Hulk Hogan fought. And they
yeah,
unified
exactly.
the
It's the
Intercontinental.
heavyweight championship and the Intercontinental Championship. One guy has both titles now.
Or like when He-Man and Skeletor unified the 2 swords. I don't know. I just see.
Less
I
like
feel
that.
like we're getting a little loosey goosey on the rules.
who is we?
The
You gonna tell
Wakandans.
Marvel that? You're gonna tell Marvel?
Yeah, the whoever originally created Marvel. Stanley's getting a little loosey goosey with this.
Stanley was all about loosey goosey.
Okay, anyway, T'Challa defeats M'Baku, and M'Baku's power in Marvel Snap is that he jumps out of your deck at a random
To
place.
a random, yeah. So which is kind of signifies his role in this. Like he says, I will not help you. I don't give a shit. And then he shows up.
But he shows up to help. But
Yeah.
T'Challa defeats M'Baku and persuades him that it'd be better to yield rather than to die in combat. And M'Baku finally taps out with a universal sign for tapping out, the same way Greg the Hammer Valentine tapped out of the Boston Crab when the Iron Sheik put him in the Boston Crab in 1987's Survivor Series. I don't know. I made that up. But I love how tapping out, that's the same tapping out as wrestling. It's just universal tapping out sign.
Yeah, that's why they call it tapping out.
Your mom called it tapping out last night.
You're a dumb asshole.
You're a dick.
I just want to note that you two share a mom.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. M'Baku.
But no one, you're never supposed to take your mom jokes literally.
That's true.
Yeah, it's still a little cringy when it's
Yeah, it is
your
weird when it's your
actual
own mom. Okay, so we talked about
I usually
M'Baku.
do stuff like someone says something about like the commercial comes on about Pepto-Bismol having indigestion or something, and I'll say your mom had indigestion last night to nobody in particular.
Damn, it doesn't even mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything at all.
It's not a sexual thing.
I just it's just a stupid thing to say, and I enjoy saying stupid shit.
you enjoy your mama jokes. I got it.
Yeah.
Not all your mama jokes are set. There
It's
sometimes they're just calling your mama dumb.
Your mama's got a glass eye with a fish in it. Your mama.
I haven't heard that one.
That's a rap song. Anyway, River. I think TBJ talked about this a few episodes ago. These elders, the different old people that like Dorothy Steele Merchant, who was started her acting career at age 88. She's the Merchant tribe elder, that older lady.
Yeah, we did talk about when our first attempt at Black Panther.
Yeah. Well, I fell
And
down a
then
rabbit hole looking up some of these.
On
people.
our second attempt,
Oh yeah,
Joe fell down a rabbit hole.
yeah, I did. I know we probably already talked about this.
It's
Yeah,
not a
Art
bad
made it.
rabbit hole to be in. It's pretty cool how some of these people came into this movie.
Well, the River Tribe elder stands out. He's the guy that's got the big plate in his lip, and he is an actual actor. I don't know why I thought some of these guys were just like extras or something, but he's an actor. From
And for you two who weren't here last time, I also went down a Joe rabbit. Oh shit! I went down a Joe rabbit hole, and I connected him to Forrest Whitaker because he also was on Godfather of Harlem, which Forrest Whitaker is star of as Bumpy Johnson. But continue on, Joe. And he plays, and he's French, and he also plays a French.
yeah,
A person of French descent on
yes.
Godfather of Harlem.
Yeah, this guy Isaac de Bancole was born in Ivory Coast. We talked about that last episode, so you can listen to the previous episode if you want. But he's got a pilot's license, so and then he was a pilot and he met some French director that got him to start drama school. So it's kind of funny. We talked about that. So, but then anyway, T'Challa eats the heart-shaped flower, gets buried, sees his father in the ancestral plane, who tells him he's a good man. At the end, he leaves it as T'Chaka says, "You're a good man, so it'll be tough for you to be king." And my question is, does this suggest that T'Chaka wasn't a good man?
Well, that's what we learn later in the
learning
film.
by leaving that boy, he wasn't necessarily a good man, and the war dogs, like you said,
But then
are killing people, right?
So for someone who kind of sides with Killmonger, the cliche is heavy is the head that wears the crown kind of thing.
Okay.
So when you're king or queen, you have to make tough decisions. It don't necessarily means you're not a good person. It just sometimes you have to make choices, quote unquote, for the greater good. Where some may see like, oh, unless you're like a despot or some shit, or you really just want to like kill everybody because you are the king. Like you're like fucking, what's the name? You're fighting to see who's going to be on the Iron Throne or some shit like that. Not all kings are. Well, sometimes kings have to make tough choices, which some may view as bad choices.
Well, and Killmonger does, like you said, when he becomes king, like when he burns all the purple flower, that's when I felt like he makes his turn to being like, he's pissed and he's like, I'm just king forever. No, fuck you guys. He's got that power. He's like drunk with power. And it's like, are you really just trying to help all the other people who are oppressed, or are you?
It's interesting that that's the moment it turned from you and not the moment he killed his own girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, was that before?
Yeah.
Wait, no, that was that. Oh, yeah, that was before.
No, he kills his own girlfriend.
Yeah, I guess that was before. Yeah, way before he killed. Yeah, but he didn't. Oh, yeah, he kills her.
There's no excuse. It was his girlfriend.
Is it his girlfriend, though, or did he just seduce her to get her to do what he wanted? In fact, that makes him a bad person, too. So I guess,
either way.
Yeah, I guess he's got some shades of evil.
Also, he's got a lot of bumps all over his body, and each bump signifies a murder he committed.
So yeah, he's become obsessed with killing.
And they're not all job related.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
But they're all part of his drive.
I got a question later for TBJ on that, because he gets into his military.
Killmonger will make a great Sith.
Yeah.
He would.
Yeah,
which is why
a lot
he's
of people
dead.
and children.
But I agree. I guess I agree with why I understand why he's where he is, and it's like our people have these weapons. Anyway. So anyway, T'Challa eats. T'Challa asks Nakia to stay. He wants her to be queen, and she says, "Nah, I found my true calling, brah." She says, "People need help. I can't turn a blind eye." She says, "Wakanda could start helping others." Foreign aid, refugee assistance, etc. So she's kind of got the same kind of idea as Killmonger, just not violently, going about it. She's like, we can help. We don't have to stay isolated. There's things we can do. So she's like a war dog missionary type of person. Like she's going and helping people and saving people,
but not like pushing religion on them like missionaries do.
Well, hopefully not. That we know of.
She's not. We see it. We get a peek.
And Lupita Nyong'o plays her, and she was born in Mexico City, while her father was a visiting professor there, and that's how she got her name Lupita.
I see.
Because her family's tradition was to name the child after what's their circumstance or what's around them, and because she was in Mexico City, she got the name Lupita. So there you go.
That's cool.
And she's very attractive. I don't know if you guys know that.
Very, very.
She's like
she is gorgeous.
Super model. Yeah, she is almost like not real. Like it's almost like
not real.
Like you couldn't make somebody.
So basically,
she's like Beyonce or something.
She's like the female version of, in TBJ's eyes, Michael B. Jordan for you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she's just.
I mean, she's her own fascinating human. So she is.
She is, but I'm just trying to, flip it for Joe, try to help Joe along.
Oh, she's very stunning.
She's up there with Michael and the Hemsworths. Yep.
She's in that elite.
Okay, Joe.
Attractiveness.
Yeah, Joe, you had to choose. Lupita
Oh yeah.
or Scarlett?
ScarJo's cute, but she kind of looks like a buddy of mine from college. She looks like Muppet. She looks like Muppet. My
Oh,
friend Muppet a
shit.
little bit. But she's like
Shit.
she's like a beautiful
She
version.
kind of does a
Doesn't
little
she?
bit.
In that, what's that Ghost World movie she's in? Like she kind of looks like him, but she's still beautiful. Like
Well, she was like 16 in that or something.
yeah, but I'm like, she looks like a friend of mine who is a dude that I know, but she's still attractive. So
I
does
think that
make me weird. Like
Yes.
No, not Joe.
That's not-
there are
that's not what
plenty-
makes you
but
weird.
I think
Muppet
it's
has a lot of
okay
feminine,
for another
supple
man
features.
to find another man attractive. There's a lot of beautiful men out here.
Are you
It's
hitting on me,
A-okay.
Art Star? I think Art Star's hitting on me right now.
You guys are already a thing. He's not hitting on you. You've been a thing.
Okay, we're jumping to the rhino scene. We get the big rhino. Wakabi says refugees bring their problems. You know, he's trying to talk T'Challa out of the whole, reaching out and stuff. He's like, no, we don't want to bring refugees here. They bring their problems. T'Challa says Wakanda doesn't wage war. Then Okoye calls her lover and shows up on the little phone thing. Says, you'll never believe what we picked up on radar.
It's her husband.
Yeah, so they find they're married?
Mhm.
I
She just
thought they were
called him because
lovers.
she said my lover or
She
my
does say
love or
lover
whatever.
or somewhere. My love.
She says my love, but they're
My
married.
love. And Wakabi's played by Daniel Kaluuya, he's in a million things since then, right? I don't know if he was already in what's that movie about?
Get out.
Get out.
Is it Get Out?
That's probably what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
he's in Get Out, but he was in another movie by the other horror one, Nope. He was in Nope.
Nope,
And,
just
wasn't
recent.
he in
Nope is recent.
what was it?
Hey, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
He's been in a
Couldn't
bunch
remember
of
the title.
stuff. And he's British. He's an ardent supporter of Arsenal Football Club, just so you guys know. And he began doing improv at age 9. But anyway,
Wakabi, created in 1969 at Avengers number 62 by Roy Thomas and John Buscema.
oh yeah, what's that character like?
In comics, Wakabi was kind of more like a really staunch traditionalist. He was very much of the old ways, and he was also like the head of security.
Okay, he kind of is like that too. He's border
Yeah,
tribe,
border tribe. Yeah,
and he's a traditionalist. Like they
I don't
go to
necessarily
him
know
on
he's
lot of
a
stuff.
rhino farmer, but that's awesome. I like that exists.
Yeah, those rhinos are badass. And I will mention my dog wants to attack the rhinos every time they're on the screen. She thinks, I don't know what she thinks they are, but she starts barking and jumping at the TV when she sees the rhinos. So that's kind of fun.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
He will show up again in Marvel. Well, kind of Marvel, kind of not, depending on who's producing it. He will be in the Spider-Verse.
Oh, Wakabi is?
Not the character, the actor.
Oh, as a different character? He plays more than one
Oh.
character in the MCU?
Oh,
Spider-Verse is not technically the
Oh.
MCU.
The Spider-Verse
No.
isn't?
That's what you remember. We had this discussion where Spider-Man
not
is
yet,
owned and produced
maybe.
separately.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about Into the Spider-Verse, the cartoon?
It's going to be the next one that comes out. same
That's not even
Spider-Verse.
out yet. I see. Okoye is played by Denai Gurira. She was born in Iowa, but her family moved back to Zimbabwe, where they were from when she was 5. And her brother is a chiropractor. So how about that? And she's actually a playwright of a Broadway play called Eclipsed, and she was nominated for a Tony Award. So we got
Lupita was in
another
that
playwright.
play.
And I think she was in, yeah. And I forgot to mention Chadwick Boseman wrote a play when he was in high school. So we got all these playwrights, all these people are really talented in all kinds of ways. Anyway, Wakabi urges T'Challa to bring back Claude, dead or alive. And then before they leave to go to Korea, Shuri gets T'Challa all hooked up with remote access Komodo beads with a new badass suit and sneakers And she says, "Why do you have your toes out in my lab? what is this?" And that little funny scene about his feet. And then Shuri shows him the cool suit that absorbs energy, and that fun Iron Man type scene where it's all the tech, learning about all the cool tech. And then the nanites absorb the kinetic energy and hold it for redistribution, which is cool. You learn how his suit works, and that it absorbs all the explosions and stuff. So you always know when he's taking a bunch of hits, he's about to go off, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
A bit in the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shuri, created in 2005 by Reginald Hudlin and John Romita Jr.
She wasn't created till 2005?
Correct.
So she wasn't in the old Black Panther stuff, huh?
Nope. She wasn't even in the Priest stuff. It was like right after Christopher Priest left the title. Christopher Priest, who in 1998 created Nakia, Okoye, Zuri, Everett K. Ross, the White Wolf. A lot of these characters.
So Everett K. Ross is
Priest
just a
run.
Black Panther character. Like he's not
Actually, he was introduced in Kazar number 17, not long before he was in Black Panther. But Kazar is like
Kazar's the jungle guy with Zabu.
Yeah.
And I only know that from
Because Marvel Snap.
But
Yeah.
I was watching an old Spider-Man episode from 1982, and Kazar and Zabu were in it. I was like,
There you
oh my
go.
gosh.
They're
Did
from
you
the
get
Savage
excited?
Land.
I did get excited.
Did you want to grab your phone and start playing Snap?
I did. It made me wake up and play Snap because I was half asleep.
But yeah, like Kazar comes from the Savage Land, which is a weird prehistoric jungle hidden in Antarctica
Oh.
that I would
Okay.
like them to introduce in the MCU just because I think it's interesting.
But it's in present day, even though it's prehistoric.
Yeah, there's dinosaurs,
Okay.
but I think it's like an artificially created thing. I don't know a whole lot about the origins of the Savage Land, but it's kind of this weird, interesting little Marvel comics location. It's not an MCU location just yet.
Well, when I Googled Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri,
Mhm.
you know how Google brings up a list of like commonly asked questions about things when you Google it? Like right away, I saw it said, "Why did Letitia lose her MCU role?" And I was, "What? Did they?"
Yeah,
kick
there's some
Letitia out?
controversy on some of her opinions during COVID.
Yeah,
Anti-vaccine,
type
yeah.
of stuff.
Mhm.
Right? So
But
they
she
said
didn't lose it.
she almost quit Marvel because she didn't want to
Mhm.
get vaccinated, I guess.
Yeah, which I don't know. Wasn't there that whole thing where like Nicki Minaj's cousin was, who lives somewhere in Africa, was saying she was saying anti-vax shit because of her claiming her cousin, I don't know, got gonorrhea or something. I half remember what.
Oh,
I heard.
Letty's was very much religion based, but she, unlike a lot of people, turned it around for that bag and apologized.
Oh yeah, because she
did
was
she?
like a
Okay.
born again
And
Christian
then
or
got
something.
really hurt filming Wakanda Forever.
Oh, she got physically hurt, like doing stunts.
I don't know if it was stunts or what it was doing, but
I can't remember. She did get an injury.
Yeah, they kind of like that. I don't say pushed it back, but they had to like halt production because she was hurt that bad.
Oh, that's
Nicki Minaj thought her cousin got swollen testicles from a COVID vaccine.
Oh, I remember the swollen testicle thing now that you say that.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to remember what that was about.
I'm not laughing about that. I guess testicles are funny.
Yeah.
Always. So
Testicles.
Testicles.
I will say Letitia Wright did, she was born in South America, but when she was 5, moved to London, or she was 8 when she moved to London and went to a Duke's Aldrich Academy, where they also make Duke's Mayo. Okay, that's not true.
Yeah.
But there's a British rapper named
Did Winston
Wretch32.
Duke invent Duke's Mayo?
Maybe. But she was inspired to become an actress by the movie Aquila and the Bee. Have you guys ever heard of that movie?
Yeah.
I do. Ooh, what a full circle. That the mom in Aquila and the Bee is her mom in this movie.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, I was going to say it's Angela Bassett's in that. So
How cool.
Yeah, so there you go. There you go. I had never heard of that movie, but now I want to watch it.
Interestingly enough,
You've never heard
Ramonda-
of Aquila and the Bee
I probably heard of it somewhere, but
with like Kiki Palmer, Lawrence Fishburne,
Excelsior.
Angela Bassett.
well, it came out in
Excuses
2006.
the
so
tools of the incompetent who use them to build monuments of nothing. You know, none of that where he
I had
makes
a-
her talk
I-
about she's not really scared.
I had a 1-year-old baby that year, so I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the world.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that excuse. Go watch
Like-
it. It's good.
From when my son was born till like the last, like maybe 2 years ago, I was just like not in touch with anything, no idea what's happening outside the world. I don't know why I had children. I got to keep them alive somehow. How do you do this?
I mean, that's the plight. Go watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna rent it or watch it wherever I can watch it, but it looks good. I mean, and then I'm thinking maybe I'll just see everything Angela Bassett's ever done. Why not just do an Angela Bassett?
I feel like a smart move for you because
think
she
that'd
does
be
the
good.
damn thing.
She's a bad ass.
He
That's
was
right.
a bad man, Gemma.
And her character Ramonda was debuted in Marvel Comics Presents number 14 in 1989, created by noted Black Panther creator or artist writer Don McGregor. He didn't create Black Panther, but he did a lot of world building of Wakanda throughout the 70s.
Who did?
Don McGregor.
Oh, Don McGregor. I
Yep.
think.
And Ramonda is not actually T'Challa's mother in the comics. It's T'Challa's stepmother.
Yes, I knew that.
She's
Oh, really?
Shuri's mother, but not
Oh, because
T'Challa's
Shuri
mother.
and T'Challa aren't.
They're half.
They're half brother and
Siblings.
sister. Yeah.
And also weirdly,
Right.
T'Challa's birth mother, Niami, she died when he was very young, and somehow she never had a speaking appearance in Marvel Comics until 2018. They didn't do anything to explore her character until 2018,
Really?
and I don't know anything about it.
What year did
'cause
this
I haven't
movie that
read
we're
the
talking
comics.
about come out?
Shit.
2018.
It was
Yeah.
2018, wasn't it? I was wondering if it was because of the movie and everything or something. Did they do a lot
Maybe.
more Black Panther comics around
Oh,
this time?
yeah. I
I
think
feel
they
like
really-
Artstar said they did all these
YA
free.
books, everything.
Yeah,
like
Ta-Nehisi
tons.
Coates was writing stuff, and like they had
Yeah.
some spin-offs like World of Wakanda, or I think wasn't there like a Wakandans in Space series, some kind of like the intergalactic empire of Wakanda or something, like people
There's
from Wakanda had a space envoy and had cosmic adventures and shit.
If you look at Black Panther on Disney Plus, there's one of the extras. They have like this roundtable discussion with Don McGregor, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Ryan Coogler. There's like
They have Christopher Priest there.
I don't know. I don't think he was there, but there's some other. Who else wrote Black Panther comics? There was another.
Reginald Hudlin, who was also the president of BET for a little while, I think.
Maybe that's who that was. I think that's who it was. He was like leading a conversation. Maybe that was him. I can't remember. I only watched a
Stanley.
little bit of it. I can't remember what I was looking for something in particular. And I was like watching the gag reels and stuff. It was really late. It was like 2 a.m. I was, why am I not in bed? Why am I watching this? And so I was like half asleep, and I don't know who all was there, but it was kind of a cool little discussion just about the meaningfulness of Black Panther and
Mhm.
when they wrote it. And then Don, what's his name? Don McGregor kind of said, I think in that conversation, he alludes to the fact that he felt like he was given this project just for it to die. Like sometimes like
Yeah,
like when what's his name who wrote G.I. Joe? I'm forgetting that guy's name now. My favorite guy.
Larry
Larry
Hama.
Hama,
Larry Hama said the same thing. It was
friend
like,
of the show.
he said, yeah, he was like, they gave me all the crap because I'm just a nobody. And they gave me this, they have this idea where we're going to go, just kill a dog, just give it to whoever. And so he took G.I. Joe and like put his heart and soul into it, and it became a thing. And he's like a success now. Don McGregor said the same thing. He was like, they gave it to me just because they thought it was going to die. It was going to go nowhere. But I put my energy into making it a thing. And
yeah. Like a lot of his stories, there was like were like published piecemeal. He didn't get like full comics. There's this thing called Panther's Quest that was like backup stories in some other comic series, but they just kind of it involved a lot of in-depth like building of the world of Wakanda, and like there's a downtown area of Wakanda, or like this main, like there's maps of Wakanda that he built. I think he like constructed, like just sort of
I think
naming
he kind of alludes
geographical
to that.
regions.
Like he like put all this effort into doing it. I think so. Was Don McGregor like a no-name guy before this?
I mean, I hadn't heard of him until I got really into Priest Black Panther, and then started looking into earlier Black Panther comics and finding all this really detailed work from him.
Yeah, maybe Priest was in that conversation.
There was an enemy he created named Solomon Prey with 2 Y's, who was like a guy with weird bat wings growing out of his back that was also a drug dealer. He was trying to introduce the drug trade into Wakanda, and Black Panther had to stop him.
Wow.
And it was like the artwork was really lushly painted. That's not Tom McGregor. I need to look up who that was. But it was very interestingly, and T'Challa had like his love interest for a long time was like an American jazz singer named Monica Lynn. So I don't know if they'll ever introduce her. But I was like throughout the 70s and 80s, that was his main squeeze.
Squeeze. You said squeeze. So I am thinking that this Black Panther, like I know I couldn't remember if I had seen it before and whatever. So I really don't think I did see. I think I was waiting for us to get to it in Nerd School. I'll have to go back and listen to our first few episodes of Nerd School to remember, but because I started watching, so the next one after this is Avengers Infinity War. So I just started like peeking into that to see. I definitely haven't seen any of that. So we're officially at movies I haven't seen anything on, but it's exciting watching these movies for the first time. And then hearing all this background really makes me want to read these, but I know I'm not gonna. It's just, I'm lazy. I'm lazier than I am wanting to read everything. I don't have time, man.
You're not lazy.
You have to squeeze it in when you can.
Busy, yeah.
Like, see, the thing is, some people, everyone reads at a different level, right?
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to say I joke, but I sit there and say like how I'm trying to read X amount of books this year. TBJ reads Goo Gobs of books.
Yeah.
Mr. Brant P. Fundak seemed like he reads 15 books a day. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you read the way that you can absorb the material. You don't want to sit there and read the shit and then like you've read it, but you can't remember what you read just for the sake of reading. So like if you read, like I said, you want to find a book that you want to, like you're interested in some character, you start reading that book. Like no one says you have to read everything at once. You can read a book every 2 months.
Well, and I'm also a cheapskate. So it's like if I have to pay for it, like I'm on Comixology right now, just looking like I don't even know if I have Comixology Unlimited or what the difference is. And then I look up Black Panther and it's overwhelming. Like there's 281 results. Where do I even begin?
I had so I just started like the books that I got when this movie first came out. I literally just started reading some of them, and I'm starting with Black Panther from like the very beginning, with his cape, and then you have like
from the 1970 whatever.
Yeah, you have like
1966
exposition being shot at like, yes, I am such and such, and I do this for such and such, and this is my such and such, and then all of a sudden, here comes the battle. After 5 pages of talking about the build up to the battle, like we have to get out of here, and then like. Whole lot of
I keep finding that these comics written in the 60s are so
wordy,
old and dated, and it's like so hard to slug through.
You got to find that charming. You got to find like old timey talk and like silly nicknames, and like you need a little bit of maybe not nostalgia, but just the ability to find old-timey comics charming in their own way if you're going to start from the beginning.
I like it when they do the anthologies, so you can just
the omnibus.
Yeah, so you can just read them all in one place. Like I don't need it to be a collector's thing. I just want to read. I want to read the story, like how it originated, especially now that we're watching the movie. I don't know. I don't know. You guys got me wanting to read comic books, so that's a
T'Challa originated Fantastic Four number 52, 1966. Stan Lee, Jack
so
Kirby.
that's what do I do? Do I go all the way back to the Black
But
Panther
here's the
comics or the
thing,
first appearance?
because you're Joe. Because you're Joe, it's like what Bob. I think what's holding you back is you just can't. Like how Andy told you what book, you just can't go to that book. You have to read Fantastic Four number 1
That's
to
it.
get to
That's
that
exactly
point.
it. So you said he shows up in Fantastic Four number what?
52.
52.
Right, so
now
you
I
have
want to go
start at
Fantastic Four.
Four number 1,
And then I got to
just to get to
research
it.
when did Fantastic Four originate? Oh, the 1930s. So now I gotta go back-
1961.
and then the
Fantastic
first,
Four, 1961.
and I
was
guarantee you
basically
the first issue of Fantastic Four has some other character in it that originated in the 40s that I got to go back to. And it's just never ending.
But you don't have to go. You don't have to go back.
You
to
don't
it.
have to. You keep saying I
you
got
can start
to.
reading it, and then like you know what? Like this is like the way I consume comics now. Is like I'll
Just
sit and I'll
shirtless
find
on the
off.
toilet.
I'll start off with a
He
starting
doesn't do
point,
toilet reading.
and
Right,
then
he
I'm like,
doesn't do
oh,
toilet
I
reading,
need to
yeah.
go back because I want to sit there and kind of see how we got to this point. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm reading House of X. I might have to go all. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna find some way where I can kind of like get a summary of what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And then when I'm reading it, it'll say see, like comics always say,
Yeah.
see Amazing Spider-Man number 664.
Yeah.
So I'll
then
go
you
back and I'll
see
read that
yeah,
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go all the way back to number 1.
But when you
just
go
to
back
get
and
to
read that
664.
issue that it references, are you purchasing it or do you own it already? Or are you just looking on Comixology or what
I
are you doing?
may see if it's on Comixology. If it's something I really like I'm buying Gambit now. But like I'm also like on Comixology, I've gotten to a point where I'm reading the new Amazing Spider-Man run. Comixology only has it up to issue 5. Like I'm sitting there like I don't want to say I'm being cheap, but then it's almost like well I've bought Gambit number 2. I bought this book. I bought that book. I bought that book. I'm not just going to sit there and just keep buying them.
Are you buying physical copies or are you buying
No,
digital?
digital.
Okay. Is
digital.
are any of you guys buying physical copies of anything right now, comic wise?
I haven't been buying in a long time.
The last physical comic I bought was Dr. Afram issue number 1 that I got from this Charlotte Minicon. I bought that and I forgot the other book. But
You said Dr. What?
Dr. Afram. It's a Star Wars character.
And here's the thing, Joe.
You were about to
with-
make people so mad, Art.
Say it again.
You were about to make.
I was about to what?
We're freezing. She's freezing up.
I was about to piss off some Star Trek fans.
She's in carbonite sickness.
She might be. But here's the thing with Black Panther. If you want to go back, like he didn't have Black Panther Volume 1, number 1. He never had his own actual self-titled series. He was created in 1966, didn't have his own series until 1976.
Oh, 10 years of his existence before they gave him his own comic?
Well, I mean, there was a comic called Jungle Action that Jack Kirby kind of created that starred him, but he didn't have his name on his own comic until 1976. So like he had like sporadic appearances and a couple of miniseries and short-lived.
I think
And
we did talk
sometimes it's
about.
good to sometimes it's good to get comics just based on a certain character without having to buy like the whole run. Like I've been trying to get this. I've been trying to get a black first appearance of Black Goliath, slab without having to spend a shit ton of money. Just because. Go ahead.
That I was just saying, like that's kind of what I did when I first really like got into comics whole hog in like the late 90s. Like I had collected comics
Hog.
before that.
Whole hog.
But I I walked
Mama
That means you
into
just put
breakfast
your
with
whole
no
hog
hog.
on the comic book while you're reading it, right?
yeah. No, I walked into a comic book in San Francisco when I lived there,
You
which is right
you
next to
walked into a
Oakland.
comic
Walk
book.
into a comic book.
Comic store,
Wow, what are you,
comic
a
shop,
superhero?
and it was half comic shop, half toy store, I think.
I
And
just pulled the Andy.
Yeah.
it was the first time I'd ever heard of the character Deadpool, which had just been created in 1991
By who?
by
Rob Liefeld?
Fabian Nicieza and some
Oh.
asswipe that can't draw feet. But it was, but this was written by Joe Kelly and artist Ed McGuinness, and it was the picture of this guy who looked sort of like Spider-Man sitting on the Hulk shoulders for some reason, being silly. I was like, what the hell is this about? And I looked through it, and he had said a couple of lines that were kind of funny. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna find out about this Deadpool guy. I've never heard of him.
And that's a Rob Liefeld thing.
That's Rob Liefeld.
So when you first got into comics, Rob Liefeld was your thing.
Well, when I first started buying comics a lot,
Yeah.
because like before that, I'd collected like maybe one like Spider-Man 2099 and a couple of weird little Spider-Man things and Transformers comics when I was younger. But I sort of learned by osmosis X-Men stuff when I was in junior high, and like I had some friends getting stuff, and I got comics here and there. But when I first started buying regularly and being like super huge nerd, it was Deadpool that kind of hooked me in, and I got really into that series. And then shortly after that, Black Panther.
That's
They
crazy.
did the Marvel Knights relaunch, and I
Because
just
that
started-
hooked you in, and that's like
Yeah,
the
so I
thing
got like,
you
all
hate
right,
the most.
this is Deadpool number 4. I'm going to buy Deadpool 1, 2, and 3, and 4 and figure out what this guy is. And I like that so much, I started looking for his previous appearances, which were
So you liked
not
that.
as good.
When did you start hating Deadpool the way he's drawn? Like,
no, like
Yeah. When did Rob Liefeld hurt you, Andy?
where did the bad man touch you, Andy?
Is this therapy now?
you should like when I the farther back I went, I had to find his first appearance in New Mutants number 98 coming out in 91, and it's just
I have that.
It's so fucking ugly. I have it too
I have
because I
that,
had to
and
read it.
I've got it digitally, and I think I bought it just for the first appearance thing.
So
Just
you're
go
saying
look at
it's-
some of his drawings.
What is this appearance?
New Mutants 98.
98. It's what they call in the comic book world a key issue.
Oh, it's the first Deadpool, and if you
Yeah,
look at it,
New Mutants ends at like number 100, so it's almost the end of New Mutants before it becomes X-Force. And it's
so
just-
what's wrong with him? You said it's feet. He can't draw feet. It looks like a normal
That's-
comic to me.
that's a thing with
Look at the
Liefeld,
faces.
but
Look at the face.
I don't know. It just looks like a comic.
And
book.
then look at like some other Brigade. Look up Rob Liefeld Brigade or Rob Liefeld. What's another one of his characters, Andy?
Rob Liefeld really wanted to be Jim Lee and tried to draw just like Jim Lee, except as a shittier version of Jim Lee, and it never got better.
Who's Jim Lee?
Jim Lee was like one of the biggest artists of the 90s. He had like a really sort of
You hated him too.
no, Jim Lee's fine. Jim Lee is pretty good and clean and can draw really well.
Okay, I found a Captain America that looks weird.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
got
that's the Captain America,
giant
the
boobs.
boob shot.
Yeah,
yeah.
ridiculous. He's not very good at proportions. He's not good at his facial
Did you see-
expressions are all shitty.
Have you found the shirtless Captain America, Joe?
No,
That's a
Yeah.
shirtless version of that.
I'm just going through.
Yeah.
Rob
Anyway, Black
Liefeld's-
Panther.
Anyway, So I think we're far enough in the movie, and we're far enough in this recording where we should probably pause. We're about to get to Korea, which is an action-packed thing. We've been recording for well over an hour and a half.
Right. But we could also, yeah, shit. I was going to say, let's push through and get through it so we can get to Infinity War, but also I have to finish taking a CPR class online course. It's going to take 2 hours.
I gotta take this whole sexual harassment thing still. I haven't done that yet.
Good job.
Oh, I haven't either.
Art
I
Star,
did-
stop harassing everybody.
I don't
well,
know what happened there.
We'll
I think we
finish
might
up-
have lost TBJ too. So she
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't know if
freezing.
she's.
I'm here.
Oh, she's there.
It's just every time I really start to talk, it freezes.
Oh,
Yeah, so we need a better connection from TBJ. When she's back from Jamaica, we'll have a better connection.
You make it sound like I'm always away.
Italy, Jamaica,
Aruba.
Aruba,
When are you going to the
Bahama.
Copacabana?
At the Copa.
Nashville's next.
Copacabana.
Are you
Nashville.
going, when are you
He's
going
the
to Nashville?
Cobra
Memorial Day weekend.
Commander.
When are you going?
Memorial weekend.
Okay. I'm taking my daughter Memorial Day weekend to see
Taylor Swift in New
What?
Jersey.
New Jersey. I only got tickets thanks to an intern that works with us. I had extra ones or an extra opportunity to get them, and so she talked me into it. I was, I don't know why I did it.
Oh, is it at the? Where is it at? The Meadowlands or?
Yeah, it's at what
the
used
Giant
to be
Stadium or
Meadowlands, or
something?
wherever the Giants play. It's called something else now. The
Joe, I
MetLife.
want you to take responsibility for your own actions going forward. People can't talk you into doing things that you subconsciously already want to do. Like you still, I think you still hold on to the fact that I forced you to buy Cobra Commander.
You did. And he's sitting
Cobra
right up there, and I don't know why
Cobra
I have him.
Commander.
He's the best bad
Terrorist
guy.
of the
Skeletor.
lander.
Cobra la 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 la.
I want my daughter to have the experience of seeing her favorite artist in concert.
That's going to be incredible.
And it's supposed to be like a once in a lifetime, whatever this concert is like unbelievable. It's impossible to get tickets.
Plus, she gets to see New York City.
And I get to take her to she's never been in New York City. And so I know it's going to just make her.
I love
life,
New York.
So,
yeah.
I love that for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope you realize what a lucky thing it is that I'm spending too much money. And then you got to figure out what can I do for the boy to make it up. He doesn't like to go do stuff, so it's like, how do I be fair? So
buy him a clone trooper suit.
that's what he probably wants. Yeah, or like a real one of those real lightsabers.
Right.
Why isn't
Definitely.
He should build one out of Legos.
Seems like you have the answers, Joe, for this.
Well, I don't have.
Seems like you know.
So I would eventually. We'll figure out something for him. I offered to take him to a Weezer concert or something because he likes Weezer. But
he likes Weezer.
Yeah, he likes Weezer. He's got the weirdest musical tastes. Like he loves Tupac. He likes,
as he should.
Tupac.
I think everyone should have quote unquote weird musical tastes. Like I love everything. I don't care what it is. I love
classic
everything.
Rock. He likes
classic rock is the shit.
But he doesn't love all hip hop. Like he won't like. I can't believe he likes Tupac. The thing is, he likes it because somebody else turned him on to it. So he likes only the Tupac songs that person turned him on to, not what I turned him on. Like if you like Tupac, then you like this and this and this and this and this.
But you're dad.
But I'm
so
dad.
It's
so whatever
different.
I like
You're
is
not
lame.
cool.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to listen to Taylor Swift for my daughter. But
what about
I like some of it.
Does he like Digital Underground? Because Tupac was in it.
I don't think I don't even know if he hasn't even let me explain to him where Tupac originated. Well, I did tell him he was a backup dancer, with Digital Underground and the Humpty. He knows the Humpty dance. He likes that, I think. But
good.
But I think he only knows it from his uncle singing it at every wedding we've been in our family. Somehow there's a tradition. Andy gets the microphone and does the Humpty dance.
That somehow started when I worked at I think it was like karaoke, but when I worked in San Francisco, I think there was like a holiday party at the company I worked for, and like I guess people didn't like the cover band that was up there so much, so they'd seen me do Humpty dance at karaoke because I can do the voice, y'all.
I want to see this. It's
we need
a nerd school karaoke night.
Yeah,
somebody's got to get married, TBJ, because we've had several weddings where I do Baby Got Back and Andy does Humpty dance. I don't know how we ever get the microphones. It's not a karaoke thing.
I think we should all just get together and do Journey.
Journey songs.
Oh yeah, Don't Stop Believing.
We do need to do a karaoke night.
I think that would be fun.
Isn't there a karaoke thing at the Heroes Con that we skipped or something?
I don't know. You're probably only allowed to sing nerdy songs.
Yeah.
What classifies
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Transformers.
Well, I want us all to go to that
Robots
thing
in
that art
disguise.
thing where you draw things
When
in
you
charity and you
draw
buy little.
things.
Yeah, we can do it. I
That
can
was-
clear my schedule this year. I got you.
Since I accidentally washed
Yeah.
all the things I bought
Good job, idiot.
in
So
my pocket.
You know what we need, right? We need Joe and Andy, Hell in a Cell dog collar match to settle this brotherly beef.
We are going to be at HeroesCon again this year.
Yes, if you're a listener,
We're still developing what we're doing.
we'd
Last
like
year
to
we
meet
did.
yes.
come meet us, get TBJ's autograph.
I'm definitely doing autographs.
We got to have a nerd school luncheon to discuss what exactly we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
The only thing we do
Yes.
know is that
It'll be fun.
one night with ArtStar will be auctioned off. One night alone.
We've been
with
auctioning that
ArtStar.
for a while.
You can do whatever you want to him sexually.
Just so you know, I don't do feet.
That's great.
So factor that in, discount. We'll discount that.
Yes. So mark your calendars, June.
Crap, I don't remember the dates.
18th. I mean 16th through the 18th.
16th through the 18th.
That's
Set aside
June?
Charlotte, North Carolina. It's
Yeah.
in June.
It's June.
It's coming up. Coming up.
Wasn't it in May
listeners.
last year?
Nope, it's always in
No.
June, you stupid son of a bitch.
All right,
It
I'm
was
pretty
still in
good.
June.
Idiot.
Yep, June 16th, 18th, Charlotte Convention Center.
Oh, finally admit you were wrong and you're a piece of shit.
Yep,
All right, go to bed.
All right,
I'm
bye.
a wrong piece of shit. See you
Thanks
later,
for
everybody.
listening.
Later,
Excelsior.
nerds.
More Black
Excelsior.
Panther coming soon.
Excelsior motherfucking Eeyore.
Bye.
What about Eeyore?
ArtStar's taking his pants
Thank you
off.
for listening to the Nerd School podcast.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud over pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, you got it, Superman, you ought to keep it here. Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, packed with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.